Hello everybody, this is Lara from Pure Elliott Wave with your Monday to Friday Bitcoin and XRP update. I'm going to look over weekly technical charts with Bitcoin today. The last completed weekly candlestick is a hammer candlestick. That's a bullish reversal pattern, and it's found support for the last two completed weeks exactly at the lower edge of this best fit channel. I've drawn this trend channel from this high of week beginning 2nd of April 2023 to where the all-time high was week beginning March 10, 2024, and I've sat it across these lows. Price has found strong support and is bouncing up strongly off the lower edge of that channel. So it looks like that these lows may well be sustained for the long term, but I want to see how price behaves when it gets to resistance, 73,100, 71,500. We'll look at that a little bit more clearly on the daily chart. Most recently, it was an upward week, which had strongest volume, week beginning 29th of February. For the very short term, volume was pushing price lower. The last completed week has a slightly declining volume, but let's see how this current week, we're only in Tuesday, let's see how it completes. ADX reached very extreme for the previous upward swing to all-time highs. A consolidation over a few weeks has pulled ADX down below 45, but it's not below both DX lines. It's declining, so at this time frame, at the weekly time frame, there's no clear trend at this point for Bitcoin. At the all-time high, RSI reached deeply overbought, but not for very long, and then it exhibited single bearish divergence. So unsurprising, we got a consolidation and a pullback. It's managed to bring RSI well down out of extreme. It's just about 50 today, so plenty of room for the larger bullish trend to resume. It's also brought money flow right down into neutral. At the daily time frame, I'm viewing this consolidation as a huge rectangle. There was a false downward breakout on the 7th of July. Price quickly returned back into the rectangle. I've moved the lower edge of support for the rectangle down to sit on the low now of the 8th of July at 54,305.08. Price is now within the rectangle with an upward swing. Let's expect it overall to continue higher this week, probably next week. May not move in a straight line, may be choppy and overlapping like this upward swing was. Let's expect it to continue higher to resistance, 71,500, 73,100. The last completed upward session shows a nice increase in volume beyond the two previous sessions and beyond the previous reasonably strong upward session of the 7th of July. There is now some volume starting to re-enter the market with upward movement. ADX is declining at the daily time frame as well. There's no clear trend. The DX lines are just crossing over, a potential trend change from down to up, but no upward trend indicated. Price is still within that consolidation. At the low for the 24th of June, price closed at 6270.95. At the low for the 5th of July, price closed lower at 56,645.24, but RSI was higher. There is some bullish divergence after RSI reached oversold. This suggests that the low of the 4th of July is very likely to remain intact for the long term. As price moves higher, there is now some increase in volume and an increase in ATR as a measure of volatility. Volume and volatility now favour the upside. I will expect price to continue higher to resistance, and I expect it's quite likely we're going to see an upward breakout when it gets there, but it might have a little pullback first. With no clear trend and price moving higher within the consolidation, let's expect price to continue higher and may end the upward swing when price reaches resistance and stochastic simultaneously reaches overbought. But if price closes above resistance, I'll then want to see 2 or 3 days up and away to have confidence in an upward breakout, to have confidence it's not a false breakout. And if we get an upward breakout, I will then expect energy to be released to the upside. Someone asked a really good question in comments. How do you figure the days open and close for a market that's 24/7? I've set the time on my computer to New York time, Eastern Standard Time, and so at midnight, then whatever price is at when New York reaches midnight, that will be the close of price for that candlestick, and then the open will be just after midnight, and it'll continue for the next 24 hours. So it depends what time you set your computer to or what time zone you're in. I always have mine on New York time because I'm working on New York time. I hope that makes sense. I'm just going to go over this one main Elliott Wave count for XRP today. I think I'll probably cover my monthly and weekly charts tomorrow. I'll try and give that to you once a week. XRP is finally moving higher. Finally, looks like it might be breaking above 55 cents. For the short term, the structure for XRP is an incomplete impulse. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, I'm labelling that minute degree wave 1. When 5 steps forward is complete, we'll look for 3 steps back. When the 5 steps forward is complete, then I can draw a Fibonacci retracement along the length of minute wave 1 with a log function applied to it to allow for extreme volatility of cryptocurrencies, and then I'll expect minute wave 2 to most likely reach the log function of the 0.618 Fibonacci ratio of minute wave 1. How do we know the 5-step forward pattern is complete? I'll look for a bearish candlestick pattern. I'll look for a red candlestick, a dark cloud cover, gravestone doji, bearish engulfing possibly, but probably won't be as strong as a bearish engulfing. I'll look for a decent red candlestick, and then I'll expect that minute wave 1 could be complete. Now the other thing we can do is use a channel. Let's draw one using Elliott's first technique from 1 to 3 and then a copy on 2. So far this upward movement remains contained within this channel, but the problem here is this channel has a really strong slope. The stronger the slope, the lower the technical significance. But if we see a full candlestick below and not touching the lower edge of this channel, it'd probably be because minute wave 1 is complete, minute wave 2 is then underway. So far minute wave 1 is in its second week, so if it completes this week or early next week, then I'd expect minute wave 2 to be about even in proportion, possibly a little bit longer, not too long though, so I'm only expecting a pullback to last maybe 1, 2 or 3 weeks, 4 at the most for minute wave 2. Technically it may not move beyond the start of 1 below 0.3838. Very quickly, technicals for XRP, it's so far moving quite strongly above resistance at 55. If it can close above that when we get to midnight New York, as I explained earlier, then we'd have a close above resistance, and then resistance would change to support. But because we had this false breakout back here on 22nd of April, I want to see 2 or 3 days up and away from 55 cents before I really have confidence it's not a false upward breakout, that price really has finally broken that important strong area of resistance and it's going to move up and away. Look out for next resistance on the way up, 60 cents and 0.675. Volume is pushing price higher for XRP. ADX is declining. There's no clear trend for this market at this time frame. RSI is getting closer to overbought. It had single bullish divergence at the last low, suggesting that that low is likely to remain intact, particularly as RSI reached oversold. ATR is now starting to show a decent increase as price moves higher, so volume and volatility are now favouring the upside for XRP. That's bullish, that's really good to see. Because there's no clear trend, let's expect price to continue higher toward resistance, maybe 60 cents now, and stochastics to reach overbought simultaneously. If they get there simultaneously, the end of today, maybe tomorrow, that could be the end of this 5-step forward pattern, and then we'll look for a 3-step back pattern to follow. That's it from me today with a quick update. I hope you're all having a lovely day.